Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Sparky Game and I welcome you to our first episode of Sparky Talks, that is Introduction to Game Development. So let's move further. So firstly we'll talk about what are games and why I chose game development as our first topic in Sparky Talks. So games are often compared to different forms of entertainment such as reading books, watching movies, etc. But according to me, games are different from the other forms as we are actually immersed into a gameplay or story, and in other forms we are just observers of a particular story. In games, you can be a warrior or a school teacher or an historic soldier in a war. These things amuse me to actually search for for how the developers make such game and the gamer gets addicted to it. So I decided my topic is game development. So now we will see what is game development. Game development is the overall process of creating a video game. Many people assume that game development is as easy as playing games, but game development is very much difficult than playing games. For example, we all know that classic Snake game, which is a very basic Snake game with low graphics. It also takes thousands lines of coding to develop. There are many components like story, lighting, characters, background, etc. that merge together to create a video game. In short, we need to learn the following things for game development. So let's see them. So the major things you need to do for game development are computer programming, choosing a non-game engine, then you have to create a basic game, then you need to understand various game design patterns, then you need to learn 3D graphics and associate max. Now we will see each of them in detail. Let's move on. So, first of all, you need to learn computer programming to create games. Without learning computer programming, you cannot create a single game. So, let's move further. The interesting world in view in a game is all created using computer programming. So, you need to have basic knowledge of various languages like C++, Python, Java without moving further. So, now there is no specific programming language that is used for game development, but C++ is the most popular language in game development, and also C++ is used for writing various game engines. Some of the popular games which are made with C++ are Counter-Strike, King Quest, World of Warcraft, etc. Another popular language is Java. A popular game made in Java is Angry Birds Clone. So you need to learn various computer languages without moving further. So second thing you need to do is you have to choose a game engine. There are various game engines. As a beginner in game development, it is best to start with non-game engine. They are quite useful in general as they provide various functionalities for your games like 3D and 2D graphics rendering, audio support, animation, collision detection, artificial intelligence, networking, etc. The most popular game engine is Unity, as it is quite easy to learn and also has the personal edition which is free. Another popular game engine is the Unreal Engine, which is which can be modified to create unique games. However, eventually it does not matter what game engine you use, but what matters is that you stick with that game engine so that you understand it well enough to use it in future projects. So on a side point, it is not absolutely essential that you use a game engine. In fact, not using a game engine will mean you have to do most of the technical work yourself, which is hard but will provide you many learning opportunities. It will be useful in case if you have to develop the design patterns for game programming yourself in the future. So after learning various computer languages and choosing a known game engine, you can now create a basic game. So now you have some idea of game development. You might want to get carried away and wish to create a masterpiece, but trust me and start small. Try to keep your project around a week or so, because the most important thing now is you have to understand the basics. A common first game is a snake game, as it is easy to make and it will introduce you to many concepts in game development. It will basically teach you about three steps in the game loop, that is initialize, update and draw, which are at the heart of any possible game development you will do in future. So let's move ahead. So after creating a basic game, you need to understand various game design patterns. So first of all, what are game design patterns? For making you understand what are game design patterns, I will give you an example. Suppose that you have to put in multiple asteroids that destroy a spaceship in a space video game. It is much wiser in this situation to have a core module that can be reused again and again for asteroids rather than focusing on individual asteroids. This is game design pattern known as object pooling. Similarly, there are many game design patterns that are basically just templates for creating modular code that can be used as a repeated solution for any problem in game development. It's best that you first understand these game patterns and then apply them in various small games. This will help you understand the various impacts and benefits that game design patterns can have on game development in general. So let's move ahead. So the fifth thing you need to do is to learn 3D graphics and associate max. So why you need to learn the 3D graphics and associate max? It is not possible to make a video game without graphics, and so you need to learn about them now. And while 2D graphics were quite popular in the mid 1990s, most of the famous games today require 3D graphics which can be rendered in fixed 3D, first person third person perspective, etc., which provides a realistic feeling to the game. So if you want to become a top-notch game programmer, you should know computer graphics and also the mathematics behind it. This is even more important if you are not planning on using a already game-made game engine. So why you need to learn the max? The max commonly required for 3D graphics is linear algebra, which mainly deals with linear equations, matrices, vectors, etc. If you understand these concepts, you can easily manipulate the 3D world of your game to achieve miraculous effects. So let's move ahead. So as parents, now you are all set to make a game, but you need to learn various components of game development. There are various components in game development and each attaches equal importance in game development. So let's see what are those components and we will see them further in detail. So the first one is story, second one is characters, third one is audio, fourth one is art, fifth one is lighting, and the sixth ones are levels. Now we will see each of them in detail. So now let's see each component in detail. So the first one is story. Everything is a story and that is equally true for video games. Your story could have a linear structure which is relatively easy, or it can have a non-linear structure with various plot changes according to character action. The main plot is that there should be interesting story to hook your players. The second one is characters. Do you know any story without characters? No. That's because after the story, the characters are a fundamental part of any video game. You have to decide the looks and personality of characters, how fast they should move, what should be their manners and characteristics, etc. Now let's see other components of game development. So the third one is audio. It is the backbone of video games. That means it should support the game and yet not to be obvious. You have to decide the various sounds in the game world like player sounds, background music, etc. that together create a lifelike and believable video game. So the next one is art. It can be said that video games are basically just responsive art. So art is very important as it decides the feel of the game. Normally, art in video games can include various things like the game texture, game lighting, 3D modeling of characters and objects, particle systems to create fire, fog, snow, etc. So now let's see last two components of game development. The fifth component is lighting. All the lighting in video games are obviously artificial and very important for mood setting. Less lighting can be used in association with horror or thriller games, which increased lighting can denote more adventure or fun games. Also, lighting can be an important factor in stealth challenges with darker areas, providing cover to characters. So the sixth one is levels. All video games have various levels that increase the difficulty as time goes on. Levels can be denoted in games by multiple floors, different buildings, or even playing different countries, depending on the game you are playing. And each level can have many potential paths that eventually lead to the next level. And designing games with many possible path combination for different levels is a big factor in game development. So, why game development? Games have got it all: business, art, science, and technology. You can see this bar graph to compare the income of various industries with video games. And video games revenue is at the largest in various continents like Asia, Europe, US. Now you can see the difference between games versus movies in terms of sales. You can compare and see that games have higher income than movies also. Opting game design as a career. Now you may have various questions what degree you need to learn for becoming a game designer. So I will give you all the answers to your question. So an aspirant does not require a degree or diploma to become a game designer, as numerous employers game more preference to game experience and game knowledge. For becoming a game designer, a candidate must have a certain set of skills which he or she can acquire after completing relevant courses like BSc in graphics, animation and gaming, BTech in computer science, etc. etc. So now let's see further. A bachelor's degree in game design can be earned soon after completing class 12 or intermediate successfully. Game designers must possess a bachelor's or diploma in game designing or bachelor's degree in computer science engineering or other equivalent fields. It requires no specific entry level, although if a candidate has an undergraduate degree, he or she will be preferred more. Candidates with a degree in engineering have an upper hand over other candidates. They have better insight into the technical aspects of computer applications. Various colleges offer different programs specially built for game design. Aspirants can opt for game design courses in order to enhance their skills in the field of game designing. So now let's see pros of becoming a game designer. After seeing the pros of becoming a game designer, we will also see cons of becoming a game designer so that you can differentiate between pros and cons and decide whether you have to become a game designer or not. So the first pro is no hard and fast rule on the required qualification. As you have seen this in the earlier slide, you can be a game designer if you have the right traits. Any relevant degree would just act like a cherry on the top. A game designer builds a world of imagination and creativity. It fuels your passion for work. It is mentally stimulating as it is different with each project. The industry is spreading rapidly. It has ample amount of opportunity and good work for the aspirants. You need to get to work with other dedicated, creative, and enthusiastic people. Not only lifts the work environment, but also provide a lot of things to learn. So now we will see cons of becoming a game designer. So first con is working tirelessly to meet the deadline can lead to stress or it may take a toll on their personal life. Game designers work for long hours in front of computer. It can be hard on the back and eyes. With a climb in the requirements of game designers, the industry encounters cutthroat competition, lots of challenges and competition in the theater if you are willing to move forward with this career. Game designers deal with crunch time. They are required to strictly complete their project before the deadline as the release of the project is entirely on the company hands. So guys, whoever is watching this video, thank you for your patience, and if you want to become a game development, I wish you all the best for your career. So party hard. Thank you.